Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to How to Be Happy January. So today I'm showing you a peaceful day in my life. There's been a lot of talk this new year around like having a word of the year, and I didn't really think that I did because I didn't like actively think like what's my word of the year. But after living out this first month of 2019, I realized that I unintentionally did and do have a word of the year, and that word is peace. Peace has been something that I have really just tried to focus on more and more in my life, and I think you're going to see that in today's video because I had a very peaceful day when I filmed this. Also, in this video for dinner, I ended up cooking a HelloFresh meal, and I actually have a code for HelloFresh. If you go to hellofresh.com and enter the code HelloNikki80, you will receive $80 off with 8 free meals in your first month. I'll have all the information down below, and now I'm going to take you along for a day in my life. So all of this day is really in no particular order. I just stayed busy around the house, working on projects, cleaning, organizing, all of that. I get a lot of comments from you guys saying that this looks like the most comfortable couch in the world, and you are definitely right when you say that, but I have to take the time to refluff the couch pretty much every single day, or the cloud, as it is called, becomes like a giant pile of mush. So I refluffed my couch, and then I wanted to turn on my diffuser. So I started off with my Aria diffuser, and I poured in some water, and today I decided to diffuse some grapefruit oil, and I added that to my diffuser. Honestly, this diffuser is so beautiful and gives me the most magical vibes. Then I decided that on my Desert Mist diffuser, I wanted to use my Stress Away oil. Now, Stress Away is an amazing blend. I love the way it smells so much, and it has lime and vanilla and I believe some orange, and it honestly, people say that it smells like a vacation in a bottle, and I think that's a great description. Now, something that I've started wearing is my Fitbit, because I used to be a dancer. I was a full-on athlete, and now that I don't dance, and even my workouts are kind of sporadic depending on how my pain levels are in my joints, I kind of developed this belief that I was just basically sedentary. And so I started wearing this Fitbit to track my steps throughout the day, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I in fact am not sedentary. So it's really been a cool thing to just see. On this day, I probably watched hours of gardening videos while I did different things around my house, because I'm really trying to learn more and more about plants and growing my own food and all of that. So I just kind of kept the videos playing in the background while I watered my plants and did different things around my house. By the way, recently I actually changed out this section at the top of my stairs. I used to have air plants, and I actually killed them when I went on a long trip. I completely forgot about them, but my sister printed out some Polaroids of me and my dad and pictures of me and Dan, and I had some old pictures of Bowser as a puppy and Zoe as a puppy. By the way, how cute is that? That's Cambria Joy from YouTube, her and Bo's wedding. We took those pictures there. So I'm working on growing a lot of seedlings, and they require kind of being babied a little bit. So every day I have to add a little bit of water to the bottom of the tray and also kind of water the seedling hole. So I go over very gently with my water from my faucet to fill it up. By the way, look, roots are starting to come down. So on this day, I decided I was going to transplant some of my seedlings to my tower garden. I have such a big harvest that will hopefully be coming in the next month or two. So I will definitely keep you guys posted, and I will for sure be uploading my second tower garden diary within the next couple of weeks. So I've mentioned this before, but Dan does a lot of the transferring of laundry just to keep me from all the bending and standing. So he brought the laundry into the bedroom and threw it on the couch for me to fold later in the day. So I made my way back downstairs, and look at how much my diffusers are just pumping. It's so beautiful when the sun is shining through the windows, and it just smells amazing. it's so relaxing. So at this point, I decided to go through some packages that were delivered to our doorstep and just sort through them. I get a lot of products sent to me, and lately my method has been making these decisions fast. So I decided that all of these products were going to be donated, and I decided to keep this one dry shampoo to try. Then I did a little bit of work on my phone, and Dan was actually downstairs eating some leftovers for lunch, working on his computer while Bowser and Zoe begged for food. And I decided to start soaking my chickpeas. So I have been making hummus from scratch with dry chickpeas lately. And so I wanted to get the chickpeas started on their soaking process. They need to soak in water for 24 hours. So I filled a bowl up with a bunch of water and my dried chickpeas, and I just set it in the counter in my kitchen to sit and soak for a full day. So at this point, I decided I wanted a LaCroix. I'm a big sparkling water fan, and this week we bought some apricot sparkling water, and just thought I'd let you know that it's really good. So then I decided to check my Fitbit again, and at this point I had put in 3,200 steps, which was really exciting. And then I took my Roadkill Gems necklace. I've shown this before. It's just a necklace that is actually a roller ball that you can fill up with essential oils. And I like to roll my oils on my body throughout the day. I feel like my oils are the most effective when I'm consistently applying them and diffusing them. Side note, I love this Always More sweater from Audrey Roloff. I love Audrey Roloff. I met her last year, and she's just the sweetest person. She sent me this sweater and I absolutely love it. So then I made my way over to Dan, who, by the way, has been watching videos nonstop on how to build a house. And I rolled some essential oils on him. I do this to him all the time throughout the day. I'll just walk up to him, roll some oils on him, give him a kiss. And then while he watched house building videos, I decided to make my first batch of elderberry syrup. I've been watching people on the internet make this, and I had been wanting to experiment. By the way, I wouldn't call this experiment failed, but I would not call this like the proper recipe. So I added in about 2 cups of elderberries, and then I think I added about double the amount of water. And then I brought my pot to a boil. And while I was bringing it to a boil, I actually poured the rest of the elderberries that I had just opened into a mason jar, and I put a lid on top to store away in my cupboard. Then once the pot was brought to a boil, I turned it to a very low simmer, and I covered the top with a little crack for some air to escape. And then I set my timer for that to simmer for about an hour. So then I decided to make a kale salad. I've been really into kale slaw lately, and this is kind of a different take on that because I wanted to bulk it up and make it a full salad. Whereas with my kale slaw, I typically just add that on top of like avocado toast or something like that. I pulled the kale off of the stems and I pulled out all the rest of my ingredients, and then I brought my kale to the sink to rinse. After I rinsed it, I chopped up the kale into little slivers, and I actually pulled out my little salad chopper that I had bought off Amazon to try to help speed this process up. I wouldn't say that it necessarily did, but it's a cool little piece. I was inspired to buy this after eating at a salad restaurant called Chopped that I really love here in Nashville. And once I chopped up all of the kale, I then cut up a bunch of green onions to add to the mix as well. Then I chopped up some parsley, threw that in the bowl too, and then I pulled out a bunch of cherry tomatoes to cut in half and add to my salad as well. So then I made a mistake, guys, but I decided to add some ground flaxseed to the salad. If I could redo this, I would not have done this, because once I added the liquid, which was lemon juice and olive oil, you'll see, it ended up mixing together and making it really mushy. Whereas if I didn't have the flaxseed, when I add olive oil and lemon juice, it keeps the whole mixture just very light and bright. So I wouldn't have done that if I could have redone that. By the way, these salt and pepper shakers, I'm going to go ahead and link them down below if I can find them, because I get so many questions on these. We just got them at Walmart a while ago, but I think they're available online too. Once I added my salt and pepper, I tossed up my salad, and then I added my last little scoop of homemade hummus from the last batch of hummus that I made. So that's why I was soaking the chickpeas, because I knew that I was almost out of my hummus. Then I took a little handful of pumpkin seeds, sprinkled those on top, and then I took some raw organic walnuts, chopped those up, threw them into the salad. And then I checked on my elderberry syrup, and it's looking good, boiling away. So I just gave it a nice little stir. And then I sat down to eat my lunch. I did add a little bit of goat cheese on top, by the way, and I sliced up an apple for the side. Now, just so you know, at this time, Dan was finished with his lunch, and he decided to start heating up his Kamado Joe smoker. This thing is amazing. We smoke all kinds of vegetables, and he smokes meats on there. It's amazing. By the way, I was already outside, so I figured I'd show you our garden. I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do this spring in our garden, and I'm excited to share it with you guys, because I definitely fell off the bandwagon last year of really showing what we did with our garden, but we are definitely prepping. So then it was time to pull my elderberries off of the stove, and I strained them through our little strainer, and I actually used a spoon to kind of push down on the elderberries to get all of the liquid out that I could. And Zoe watched very jealously. She thinks she wants elderberries. She doesn't, but she thinks she wants everything. And then I decided to add a couple of drops of clove vitality essential oil and cinnamon bark vitality essential oil. There's a bunch of different oils you could add. If I had ginger, I probably would have added that as well. But I just added that in there for some extra health benefits. And I stirred that all together and then poured it into my mason jar. By the way, yes, I was devastated for those couple of drops I lost. Dan decided he wanted to smoke some meat for dinner. So, oh, his poor eyes, so smoky. So he made his way out there and threw his meat on the smoker. And let me just tell you, the smell that happens when you are smoking anything is just absolutely amazing. So at this point, I actually just got a package in the mail full of some new seeds. So I got this culinary herb seed collection that I ordered off of Amazon. Then I also got some purple cabbage seeds. So I wanted to make my way upstairs to get some new seedlings going. But before I did, I thought I would show you that we actually got these new rug carpet step thingamabobbers for Zoe and Bowser, because we're convinced that she fell down the stairs recently because she suddenly became terrified of the stairs. So we spent a little bit of time trying to train the pups, especially Zoe, that it was okay to go up and down and that she wasn't going to fall. And through using some treats and kind of playing with her a little bit, she was able to learn and understand that the stairs were safe. So it was super cute. Then I made my way back to the kitchen to make some tea. I have been loving this tea kettle. Dan actually bought this for me, and I was really hesitant to use it at first, but now I love it because I can control the exact temperature that I heat my water to. By the way, I like to heat it to 120. And so I heated up my water and I let my tea brew while I pulled my stuff together to go upstairs and work in my office. And then I grabbed a homemade scone and homemade clotted cream to bring up as well. By the way, trying to perfect this recipe before I show it to you guys, but it's pretty good considering I'm a fake baker and I'm really not that good. So once I pulled everything together, then I went over and I took my tea and I poured it over ice in my Hydro Flask, which, by the way, I get so many questions about my Hydro Flask, and I will have that linked in my info box. You guys ask me all the time about that, and I'm obsessed with it. It's like my adult baby bottle. So at this point, I thought I would check on my chickpeas, and sure enough, they're already starting to fluff out. So then I sat down for a couple of hours to do some editing, and this video is actually already up if you want to check it out. It's a video on how to make healthy garlic rosemary bagels. They're absolutely amazing. I will link that video down below. You have to check it out. Oh, they're so good. And I just kind of hung out and edited for a while. I replied to emails and did a bunch of other just random work that I wanted and needed to get done on the computer. Then I took a little break to switch over the laundry again, because when I have days like this that are fully at home, I like to get all of the laundry done. So I take little breaks to get up, get moving, and swap the laundry. I opened up my new box of seeds. So these are all of the herb seeds that I just purchased that I'm planning on planting. Now, part of the process with the tower garden before you actually plant the seedlings, you have to let the rock wool cubes soak for about 25 to 30 minutes. So I set them in some water and let them soak. And while that was going, I actually decided to make a new batch of my Thieves Cleaner, which is a chemical-free plant-based cleaner that I am obsessed with because it's the only cleaner I use to clean every single surface. Mirrors, stainless steel, countertops, floors, everything. And it's a concentrate. So all I do is add a cap full of Thieves. I fill the rest with water, and then I add any other essential oils that I would like to add to the mix. Then I decided to get in a little bit of piano and singing. I don't like to call it practice because I'm a 7 on the Enneagram and I don't want to do anything that I don't deem fun, and practicing doesn't sound fun, but I like to just express myself and go play piano and sing, and I try to do it at least a little bit every single day. I'm actually getting back into piano lessons soon because I really want to keep expanding that skill. The time is going to pass anyways, and I love the idea of one day actually being a good piano player. So we'll see. So once my alarm went off for my seedlings, I stepped away from the piano, poured the water out, and planted the seedlings that I wanted to grow. Fast forward, by the way, I actually have so many seedlings that have sprouted pretty tall now. I'm really excited. I'm actually already filming my 3rd tower garden diary, and I haven't put the 2nd one up yet because so much has happened on my tower garden, and I'm really excited for the next couple of months. It was getting close to dinner time, so I made my way downstairs to make my HelloFresh dinner. And tonight I decided to make the black bean and cheese enchiladas. Now, spoiler alert, these were amazing, and I didn't know that enchiladas could be this easy to make, which is another thing that I obviously love about HelloFresh. So I just followed the directions on the little one sheet they send you for each recipe and just got to cooking. That's something that I really love about HelloFresh. They do all the planning and the shopping and the prepping, and you get seasonal, simple recipes and pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door every week, so you can just enjoy the cooking and stick to your goals. So once I chopped up all of the veggies, I made my way over to the pot where I melted some butter, and then I threw in the tomato paste. Now, this is actually the enchilada sauce that I'm making. So I didn't even know that this was a way to make enchilada sauce, which once again is something else I love about them. They're always exposing me to new ways of cooking and new ingredient combinations. So I stirred the mixture together in the pot. And then once that had cooked for a little bit, I transferred it to a little ramekin, and then I poured my black beans into the pot, some of the seasoning that they sent, which I believe was a Southwest blend, and then I added some salt and some pepper, and then I just mashed up my beans with this little masher that I got. Actually, this was meant for baking, for scones, but you can obviously use it for a bunch of things, and I was using it for this. And then I added my chipotle powder that they sent in the HelloFresh to the beans, and I stirred that all together. By the way, you guys have seen me only cook pretty much veggie recipes, but they actually have 3 plans to choose from. You can choose classic, veggie, or family, and you have the option to switch between those different choices when your tastes change. So this was pretty fun. They did something in this recipe that I've done in one other recipe with HelloFresh, and that's doing a quick pickling of jalapenos. So you just put the jalapenos in your little ramekin, squeeze a bunch of lime juice into the mix, and then about a teaspoon of sugar, and then you stir that up and let it sit for 15, 20, 30 minutes while you're cooking the rest of your food. So at this point, I threw my peppers and my onions onto the pan with some salt and some pepper, and I just stirred all of my veggies together. And then while that was cooking, I made the lime crema, which consists of sour cream, lime juice, some lime zest, and then some salt and some pepper. Side note, HelloFresh is now from $6.99 per serving and America's #1 meal kit. I mean, I've said this before, but every time I use my HelloFresh, it's kind of like taking a cooking class. So you're getting food and you're getting a cooking lesson. So super rad. So at this point, my beans were done cooking. You can see that I cut my tortilla a little bit shorter because I didn't have a pan that fit it. So I had to make the enchiladas a little shorter. So I added my beans, my veggies, and then I wrapped it up and I threw it in my pan to bake. And then I added the enchilada sauce on top. And then I added the cheese to the top of the enchilada, and I transferred it to the oven to bake just enough to melt the cheese and heat up the enchiladas. And when it came out of the oven, I put the lime crema on top. I added some scallions, and then I added the pickled jalapenos. And oh my gosh, spoiler alert, it was delicious, but also I had a really hard time transferring this out of the bowl. It looks like mush. It looks horrible. I literally, you can't hear the audio, but I was like, no. Dan was like, it doesn't matter. It's all going to the same place. And he's right. It tasted amazing. Right after I put it on the table, Dan actually pulled the meat off of the smoker and we sat down to eat some dinner. By the way, guys, don't forget, you can take advantage of HelloFresh's special offer for 2019, and you can get a total of $80 off with 8 free meals in your first month by going to HelloFresh.com and entering HelloNikki80. Thank you so much, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video. And yeah, I'll have all of the info in the info box down below. So after dinner, we decided to take a walk. It was beautiful out. This was right before the great Tennessee freeze of the last week. And we just kind of wandered the neighborhood, hung out, chit-chatted, and really just walked off our meal. And once we came home, I hopped in the shower and I gave Zoe a shower too. So you guys know the drill. Whenever Zoe gets a shower, she always gets blow dried right afterwards. She actually hangs out in the sink while I'm doing my night routine. But then once I'm ready, it's time to blow dry Zoe, and I just dried her off. By the way, this has been my new favorite deodorant of the Schmitz brand. And I used my Young Living lavender lotion to zen me out for bed. And of course, I applied some Valor because I find any reason to apply Valor all day, every day. And bedtime feels like a great reason. And then I made my way to my bedroom and I finally folded the laundry that was waiting for me on the couch the whole day while I watched Little House on the Prairie. I just got into Little House on the Prairie and I'm actually on episode 2 now and I'm loving it. And it is like ultimate peaceful vibes. And yeah. So yeah, guys, that brings us to the end of today's How to Be Happy January video. If you missed it, we actually uploaded a foster care update video. It's called Addressing the Haters because I felt like there was some stuff that we needed to talk about. So yeah, be sure to check that out if you want the updates. I will see you guys back here soon. I know that my schedule has been super wonky, but this last week has been kind of tough. If you saw some of my community updates, but hopefully I will be able to be back on schedule next week and I will see you guys back here soon. All right, bye guys.